welcome to Pure Yoga and March, where we're going to be doing lots of Mandala flows. This flow is going to be based around a bit of fluidity, so around the water element. Because it's coming through March now, we're starting to think about spring, we're starting to think about growth, energy, after coming out of something maybe that's a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more inward from winter. So we're trying to think about bringing a more active practice into our flows. So this is mindful movement. Just take it nice and easy. Have yourself some water at the side if you need some. Just take a break whenever you need to. Come to the knees, sit on the heels. If that's uncomfortable, just place a blanket underneath your bottom and in between your heels, just to elevate you a little bit, to give some space for the knees. We're going to be here just for a couple of moments. So when you get into this space, close the eyes, grow tall through the crown, long through the spine, relax through the shoulders, and try and close the eyes to bring yourself a little bit more internally, to take that mental scan of the body from the crown of the head all the way down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips, just having a little check-in with anything that's tense, anything that's maybe got any injury, just anything that you may be looking after. Remember to look after it through practice. If something doesn't feel right, come out of the pose, find yourself in child's pose for a few breaths. When you've taken that scan of the body, bring the focus to the breath, trying throughout the whole of practice to connect with that Ujjayi breathing. Slight restriction at the back of the throat, breathing in and out through the nose. If you need to use the mouth, feel free to do so. Whatever that body requires, whatever that breath requires. Then opening the eyes. Your next breath in, reach up with the hands, bring the palms together at the top. And then bring the hands to the chest. Push into those palms, activate the arms. Next breath in, reach up with the hands again. On your out breath, bring your right hand to your left knee, rotate to the left. Next breath in, bring the hands back up to the ceiling and then bring them back to the chest. Breath in, reach up with the arms, palms together at the top, then bring your left hand to your right knee and turn to your right. Your next breath in, reach the hands back up to the centre. On your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. In breath, reach back up with the hands, palms together at the top. Out breath, bringing your right hand to your left knee, rotate to the left. In breath, bring the hands back up to centre, bring the hands to the chest, push into the palms, activate the arms. Breath in, raise the hands back up towards the ceiling, palms come together at the top. And then bringing your left hand to your right knee, rotate to your right. In breath comes back to centre, palms together at the top. On the out breath, bring the hands to the chest. Hold it in that space for a couple of breaths. Keep pushing into those palms. Activate through the lower arms, the upper arms, into the shoulders, into the chest. Then release the hands down by the sides of the body. So making sure you're facing your short edge of the mat. I'm turning around now to start moving with a few earth salutations. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Turn the palms forward. Breath in, push into the shins. Raise up with the hands, palms together at the top. Breath out, reach forward. And on your breath in, bend the elbows. Scoop the body through into an up dog on your in breath. On your out breath, bring that chest back down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips. Start to take a paddle through those feet as you've arrived in your first downward facing dog. Have a little nod, have a little shake of the head. We're just going to take some hip openers, not holding necessarily for very long. On your breath in, raise up the right leg. On your breath out, bring that right knee to the right wrist and to the back toes. Take a hold of the right foot, turn it internally, left hand comes back down and find pigeon. Up on the hands, rocking from side to side to get into those hips. Maybe move it up through that spine and into those shoulders. Holding and taking little movements from side to side in this pigeon pose just for a couple of breaths. And then bring yourself to stillness. Tuck under your back toes, lift your back knee. Send your right leg back up and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet, nod and shake of the head. Weight comes into your right foot as you raise the left leg. Bring the left knee to the left wrist. Place it down and tuck the back toes. Turn the left foot inward. Bring your right hand back to the mat and just rock the body from side to side. Maybe making figure of 8 with the shoulders. Bringing that flow into that upper body. Just rocking those hips a little. Then bringing it back to a still position. Tuck under with the back toes. Lift the back knee. Lift the left leg back up to the ceiling. And bring it back down to meet the right. Take a paddle of the feet. Nod and shake of the head. Come down onto the knees. Untuck the toes. Bring the tops of the feet flat. Right hand goes behind, left hand lifts and reach the hips up high. Bring the hips back to the feet, left hand comes behind, right hand lifts. Lift the hips back up to the ceiling. Bring the hips back down, shoulders stack over the hips. Turn the palms forward. On your in-breath, push into the shins, lift up with the arms. On your out-breath, reach forward with the hands. On your in-breath, bend the elbows, scoop yourself through into an up dog. Then release that chest back down, tuck under with the toes, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Your next breath in, the right leg lifts. And on your out breath, bring that right knee to the right wrist. Untuck the back toes, bring that right foot forward a little more. Rock the body from side to side, finding a nice soft pigeon pose on that right leg. Make that figure of 8 with the shoulders, constantly moving, feeling a little bit of fluidity throughout the body. And bring that to a stillness, tuck under the back toes, lift the back knee, right leg lifts, and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet. Same on the left side, left leg lifts, left knee comes towards that left wrist, untuck the back toes, bring your left foot under slightly more, and then bring the right hand back down and just rock and sway through those shoulders. Bringing a little movement to the joints of the shoulders, movement to the joint of the hips. Then bring that to a still position, tuck under with the back toes, lift up the back knee. Bring that left leg back up to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the right. Take a paddle of the feet, nod and shake of the head. Coming down onto the knees, untuck the toes, seat towards the feet, bring your right hand behind, lift up with the hips, lift up with the left hand. Bring the hips back to the heels, left hand behind, reach up with the right, push the hips forward. Bring it back to centre. Come on to the hands and knees. Stepping your right foot through in between the hands, tuck under the back toes. Sink forward with the hips first, and then lift the back knee and straighten both legs, pyramid pose. Come back down to low lunge and push the hips forward, and then send it back to pyramid pose, both legs straight. Bring a bend into both knees and push those hips forward. Send it back to pyramid pose, straighten both legs. Come back to the knee of the back leg, untuck the back toes, turn around to that left side, bring your right knee down to the floor, straighten out your left leg, Stack the shoulders over the hips. Breath in, raise the right hand up and over towards the left. And bring it back to meet that right thigh. 3 more of these. Bring that right hand up and over to reach towards the left. Bring it back to meet that right thigh. 2 more. Back to meet the right thigh. 1 more. And back to meet that right thigh. Bring both hands to the floor. Widen the stance a little further. Rock forwards and backwards with the seat towards that right heel. Do 4 rocks forwards and back. That's 3. And this time on the 4th, just settle the hips back. Maybe come down onto the forearms for a couple of breaths. Feeling that stretch on that inner thigh. Maybe just creating a little bounce just to soften into that pose. Then coming back up onto the hands, walk yourself over to the other side of the mat. Keeping your left knee down, stretch your right leg out. Lift the shoulders over the hips. Breath in, reach up and over with your left hand to the right side of the room. Breath out, bring that left hand back to the left thigh. 3 more. Reach up and over, taking that lateral flexion of the spine. And back. 2 more. Reach up and over. And back. Try and keep those ribs and hips tethered. Up and over. And back. Bring both hands to the floor. Maybe widen that stance a little more. Rock forwards and backwards. 4 times. Getting that stretch on the inner thigh of that right leg. And on the 4th time going back, just hold it. Maybe come down onto the forearms and just take little miniature bounces into those hips. Coming back up onto the hands. Turning yourself to the back edge of the mat, dropping down with your right knee and bringing your left foot forward. Sink the hips nice and low, tuck the back toes under, and then straighten through both legs. Sink the hips low and forward, and then straighten both legs. 2 more of these. Sink the hips low and forward. Straighten both legs, pyramid pose. Push the hips forward. Straighten the leg, pyramid pose. And then come back down onto that right knee. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. Bring your seat back towards your feet. Roll the shoulders back. Turn the palms forward. On your in-breath, push into the shins. Raise the hands to the ceiling. On your out-breath, fold forward. Bring the hands forward to the back now edge of the mat. Scoop the body through. Lift up with the chest. Release that chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips. Squeeze those heels back or paddle those feet. Then we're going to take our pigeon pose towards that back edge of the mat. Right leg lifts. Bring that right knee to the outside of the right wrist. Untuck the back toes. And then just take some movement through those spines, through those hip sockets, through those shoulder sockets. Creating a bit of a figure 8 with the shoulders. And then bringing it back to a still position, tucking under the back toes, lifting the back knee, right leg lifts. Bring it back to meet the left, paddle the feet for a breath. And then weight into the right foot as you raise the left leg. Bring that left knee to the outside edge of the left wrist. Left foot tucks under. And then rock that body from side to side. Protecting that knee joint. If it doesn't feel right, come out of the pose. And then bring it to stillness. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee, left leg lifts. Bring it back to meet the right. Come down onto the knees, bring the seat back towards the feet. Right hand behind, left hand lifts, lift up the hips. Bring those hips back to the heels, left hand behind, right hand lifts, lift the hips again. Come back to center, bring the hands forward into a tabletop position. And just take a moment here, rocking the hips from side to side. Then bringing your right foot through in between the hands, we're waking our way back around to the front of the mat in a moment. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee. Reach up with the arms to find a high lunge. And then cross the arms over the chest. Dip into that left knee. Straighten back out, turn to the right. Back to center, dip into that left knee. Bring it back up and turn to the left. Back to center, dip that back knee. Straighten the leg back out, turn to the right. Back to center, dip that left knee. Back to center, turn to the left. Back to center, one more both sides, dip the knee. Straighten the leg back out, turn to the right. Back to center, dip that left knee. Straighten the leg back out and turn to the left. Back to the center, bring the hands to the floor, drop that left knee. Bring your right knee now, so we're turning to face that left side of the mat. Left leg goes long, right knee stays bent, lift the shoulders over the hips. Breath in, reaches up with the right hand, and we reach over to the left, gate pose. Back to the center. 3 more of these. Right hand lifts, lean over to the left. Back to center. 2 more. Breath in, reach up, over lateral flexion to the left. Back to center. 1 more, reach up and over. Back to center. Bring the hands to the floor. Walk the stance a little wider. Rock forwards and backwards with the hips. Do that 4 times. Feeling the stretch as we go back, releasing it out as we come back forward. On the 4th one, hold the stretch, come down onto the forearms. Mini bounces with the hips as you're in that full stretch. And then coming back up onto the hands, walking yourself to the front edge of the mat. This time the left knee stays bent, the right leg straight, push into the outside edge of that foot, shoulders over the hips. And take a breath in, reach up with the left hand and reach over to the right. Back through center, bring the left hand back down. And again, breathe in, up and over, and back. 2 more of those, reach up as high as you can with the left hand, over to the right side, and back. 1 more, reach up, over, and back. Bring the hands down, widen the stance a little further, rock forwards and backwards, 4 times. Remembering on the 4th, we take it into a hold. So this one we bring to a hold, bring down our forearms and just do mini bounces here. One more breath. Coming back up onto the hands, walk the hands around to the front, bring your left foot forward, tuck your back toes under, raise the hands to find your high lunge, then cross the arms over the chest. Take a bend into the back knee, straighten it back out and turn to the left. Bring it back to center, dip into your right knee, Straighten the right leg back out, turn to the right. Dip into your right knee, straighten it back out, right rib towards left hip, back to centre, dip, straighten, turn to the right, back to centre, one more both sides, left, and right. Release the hands down, step the foot back, lift the hips down dog, give that head a nod, give that head a shake, maybe have a paddle through the feet. And we're going to take that all the way back to the front. So coming back onto the knees, we'll be starting with that low lunge pyramid, but just adding something onto that one as well. So bringing your left foot through, tuck your back toes under and lift up with your back knee. Stabilise into the feet first. Raise the hands up to the ceiling. And then bring the hands to the floor and straighten the front leg. Bend into the left knee, reach the hands up to the ceiling. Bring the hands down, straighten that left leg. Take a bend into that left knee, hands come back up to the ceiling. Release the hands down and straighten that left leg. Take a bend back into that left knee. Drop your right knee down and tuck the toes. Turn yourself around to the left. Drop the left knee drop the left knee down and straighten the right leg out. Shoulders come over the hips. Breath in, left hand lifts and reaches over to the right. And take a breath out, back to centre. Breath in, lift it up and over. Breath out, left hand back to the left thigh. Two more, reach up, over on your inhale and back on your exhale. Reach up, over, inhale and back on your exhale. Release the hands down, widen the stance a little further, take it back, bring it forward 4 times. And then on the 4th hold, maybe bring the arms down onto forearms and just mini bounces into those hips, into those inner thighs. Come back up onto the hands. Walk yourself over to the opposite side of the mat. So your right knee comes to what is the back of the mat. The left leg straightens. Come up with the shoulders to stack over the hips. Breath in. Right hand comes up over to the left. And bring it back down. Exhale. Inhale up, over. And exhale. 2 more. Bring it up and over. 1 more. Bring it up and over. And bring that right hand back to meet that right thigh. Bring the hands to the floor, widen the stance a little. Rock forwards and backwards into those hips 4 times. That makes 3 for me. And on the 4th one, bring your forearms down. Take it into a hold. Maybe just bounce those hips a little. And then come back up onto the hands. Turn yourself to the back of the mat. Bring your right foot through, in between the hands. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Raise the hands up. And then bring the hands down and straighten that right leg. Bend into that right knee, bring the hands up, high lunge. Bring the hands down and straighten through that right knee. Bend into the right knee, bring the hands up. Release the hands down and straighten that right leg. Then bring that left knee down, bring your right knee down. Take a little rock of the hips from side to side. Bring those seats back towards the feet. Turn the palms forward. On your breath in, push into the shins, raise the hands. On your breath out, fold, bring the hands to the front. Scoop the body through on your inhale. Release that chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back to the thighs. Pushing into the hands, pushing into the feet, lifting up the hips, squeezing the heels back. Weight comes into your left foot, raise your right leg. Bring that right knee to the wrist of the right hand. Untuck the back toes. Tuck that right foot under more maybe. And then rock through the hips and the shoulders, up through that spinal column. Then tuck the back toes and lift up the back knee. Right leg lifts. Right foot comes back to the floor. Paddle the feet for a breath. Weight comes into your right foot. Left leg lifts. Bring that knee to the outside of the left wrist. Left foot under. And then rock those hips from side to side. Up through the spine, up through those shoulders. Tuck those back toes under, lift the back knee, left leg lifts. Bring it back to meet the right. Bring the knees down, untuck the toes, seat to the feet. Right hand comes behind, left hand lifts, lift the hips. Left hand comes down, back behind you, right hand lifts. And lift the hips. Bring those hips down. Bring yourself onto all fours. And bring your left foot through this time. Tuck the back toes under, lift up the back knee. Raise the arms up to the ceiling. Then cross the hands over the chest. Dip into the right knee. Straighten it back out and turn to the left. Back to centre. Dip into the right knee, back up straight, turn to the right. Two more both sides, dip in, come back, turn to the left, back to the centre, dip in, straighten the right leg, turn to the right, back to the centre. One more both sides, dip, straighten, turn to the left, back to the centre, dip, straighten, turn to the right, back to the centre, bring the hands down, turn around to your right side, left knee comes down, right leg straightens, shoulders come over the hips, breath in, reach up and over, breath out, back to centre, breath in, up and over, lateral flex to the right, back to centre. Keep pushing into the outside edge of that right foot. Back to centre. One more. And back to centre. Release the hands down. Widen the stance a little more. Rock forwards and backwards with the hips 4 times. On the 4th one, you hold it in that space. Coming down onto the forearms, mini bounces in this place. Easy breaths. Then coming up onto the hands, walking them over and back towards the front side of the mat. Right knee stays down and the left leg straightens. Lift the shoulders, reach up with the right hand over to the left. Back to centre. Up and over, inhale. Exhale, back to centre. 2 more, up and over, inhale. And back to centre. 1 more, up and over. And back to centre. Bring the hands down. Walk the feet a little wider. Rock forwards and backwards 4 times. On the 4th, we hold. Try and keep that core engagement, not bending into that lower back too much. On the hold, come onto the forearms, mini bounces. Coming back up onto the hands, turning yourself back to the front of the mat, dropping your left knee down and bringing your right foot through. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee, raise the arms, cross the hands over the chest, dip into the left knee, straighten back out, turn to the right. Dip into that left knee, straighten back out, turn to the left. 2 more both sides. Turn to the right, back to centre, dip, straighten, turn to the left. Back to centre, dip, straighten, right, back to centre, dip, straighten, left, back to centre. Release the hands down, drop your left knee down, right knee to meet the left. Take a little rock of the hips from side to side. Maybe just take a little bit of cat-cow just to neutralise that spine, going through flexion and extension. Then bring the seat back to the feet, turn the palms forward. On your breath in, push into the shins, raise the hands, raise the hips. Release the hands back down, roll through. Breath in, lift the chest. Release the chest back down to Gunda with the toes. Chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze the heels back. Coming down onto the knees. Seat towards the feet. Right hand behind, left hand lifts, lift the hips. Hips come back down, left hand behind, right hand lifts the hips. Bring those hips back down. Come on to all fours. Right foot comes through, back toes, lift the left knee, drop the left heel down. Windmill the left arm up, over, find warrior 2. Straighten through the right leg, turn both sets of toes to the long edge, hands to the hips. Start to fold forward from the hips, bringing the hands to the floor when you get halfway. Left hand comes to the centre, right hand lifts. Right hand comes to the centre, left hand lifts. Left hand back to the centre and fold over the legs. Breath in, roll up through that spine, 1 vertebra at a time, and roll the shoulders back. Turn the left toes to the back edge and find warrior 2. Then windmill the hands down either side of the left foot, drop the back knee, left knee to meet the right, take a rock of the hips. Bring the seat back to the feet. Right hand behind, left hand lifts, lift the hips. Drop the hips, left hand behind, right hand lifts, and lift up the hips. Drop the hips down. Bring the hands forward. Right foot steps through, in between the hands, back toes to Kunda, lift up the back knee, drop the left heel down. Windmill the left hand up and over and straighten both legs. Reach forward and down into triangle pose, left hand lifts. Then bring yourself back to centre, turn both sets of toes to the long edge of the mat, hands to the hips and fold halfway. Bring the hands to the floor, left hand into the centre, right hand lifts, gaze up to that thumb. Right hand comes back to the floor, left hand lifts, turn and twist to the left. Release that left hand back down, fold the body over the legs. Then curl up through that spine, bending the knees, bringing the shoulders back over the hips. Arms come out wide, turn the left toes to the front edge. Reach forward with the left hand as the right hand lifts, triangle pose. Then lift those shoulders back over the hips. Bend into your left knee, windmill the hands down. Drop down your right knee, left knee back to meet the right. Bring the hips back to the feet, right hand comes behind, left hand lifts and lift up the hips. Hips come back down, left hand to the back, right hand lifts and lift up the hips. Drop the hips back to the feet, bring yourself back forward into a tabletop. Your left foot comes through, in between the hands, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, drop your right heel internally. Windmill the right hand up and over and find warrior two. Then straighten the left leg, turn both sets of toes to the long edge, hands to the hips and fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Left hand in the centre, right hand lifts, gaze up to that thumb. Right hand comes down, left hand lifts, gaze up to the left. Left hand comes back to the floor, let the body fold. Then curl up with a slight bend in the knees, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Widen the arms, turn the right toes to the back of the mat and bend into that right knee, warrior two. Then windmill the hands down either side of the right foot, drop your left knee down, right knee to meet the left, rock the hips from side to side. Then bring the seat to the feet. Right hand comes behind, left hand lifts and lift the hips. Then left hand comes behind, right hand lifts, lift the hips up again. Bring the hips back down, bring yourself back into a tabletop. Step your left foot through, tuck under your back toes and lift up your back knee. Drop your right heel down, windmill the right hand up and over and straighten both legs. Reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Triangle pose. Then bring those shoulders back over the hips, turn both sets of toes to the long edge of the mat, hands to the hips. Bend from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, halfway. Left hand in the centre, right hand lifts. Right hand back to the floor, and left hand lifts. Lifting up and out to the left. Left hand back to the centre, fold over the legs. Then bend the knees softly as you curl up through that spine. Shoulders over the hips, arms out wide, turn the right toes to the front edge, reach forward and down with the right hand as the left hand lifts. Then lift up with the torso, bend into your right knee. Windmill the hands down either side of your right foot, drop the left knee, right knee back to meet the left. Hips rock from side to side. We'll finish on the full variation of Earth Sun Salutation. Roll the shoulders back, turn the palms forward. Breath in, push into the shins, raise up the hands. On your breath out, reach forward and scoop the body through on your inhale. Release that chest back to the floor, tuck under with the toes, chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up with the hips and squeeze the heels back. Right leg lifts, right knee to right wrist, place the foot and shin down, and then untuck the back toes and roll through the spine, figure eight with the shoulders. Movement in pigeon pose. And then bring it to stillness, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, right leg lifts. Right foot back to meet the left. Weight into your right foot as your left leg lifts. Bring that left knee to the left wrist, place the shin and foot down, and tuck the toes. Rock side to side. Roll through that spine. Bringing it back to a still place. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, left leg lifts. Comes back to meet the right. Come down onto your knees, untuck the toes. Right hand comes behind, left hand lifts and lift up the hips. Hips come back down, left hand behind, right hand lifts, lift up the hips. Hips come back down, arms come down by the sides of the body. Close the eyes. Take a long, deep breath in. Long breath out. This is going to be where we finish our mindful movement practice in kneeling. Make sure you're comfortable for a few moments. Scan that body from the top of the head all the way down to the fingertips, all the way down to the toe tips. Just checking in with how your body feels right now. Does those joints feel a little bit more mobile? Do you feel your flexibility has got a little easier and your range of movement a little deeper? Relax the jaw, keeping those eyes closed. Just finding this moment of stillness. Holding no tension through the shoulders, no tension through the hips or the back. Opening the eyes. On your breath in, reach the hands up to the ceiling. On your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. Push into the palms, activate those arms. Breath in, reach up again with the hands. On your breath out, right hand to left knee, rotate towards your left. Breath in, back to center, palms together. Breath out, hands to chest. Breath in, hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, left hand to right knee, rotate to the right. Breath in, back to center, palms together at the top. Breath out, hands to chest. One more both sides. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, right hand, left knee, left hand behind, rotate to the left. Breath in, back to center. Bring the hands to the chest. One more to the other side. Breath in, raise the arms. Breath out, left hand, right knee, rotate to the right. Breath in, back to center. Bring the hands to the chest. Soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts. Have peace in your words. Have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours,